Shepherd. This is my life's work we're talking about here. I think I've been worried about this when I was 1953, living at Cattle Lake, when the earliest drilling of offshore was done at Cattle Lake along the Louisiana-Texas border, and they spilled oil into that lake and it killed cypress trees. Of course, as a kid I knew they were old, but I didn't know they might be 1,000 years old. You know, where they can start growing again is in a drought, and then the water comes back up after about 10 years, and then they can survive, but you can't plant them in the lake and replace them. Anyway, that and other things I saw in my life. So I'm just excited you guys are working on these things this hard, but I do want to mention a few things in this particular ordinance. It says require phased construction for sites larger than 20 acres. Well, Aspen Ridge Hill Place was 28 acres, and they wanted to phase it, and it had been talked about, but at the last minute they were allowed to clear all that land. And you guys all have been out there and seen it. For that 2 years, nothing was done, and the erosion had to be dug out underneath 15th Street. So I would say a better choice there would be, if it's more than 9 acres, it has to be in 2 phases. Another thing, clarify revegetation requirements. I've read part of this, heard a lot of it, but it is a key thing that it be done with native plants that won't require maintenance, and this is something for the landscape ordinance as well also. You don't have to have maintenance. You should not have to spray or any insects. You should not, because you want the insects that are living in native plants. Every plant, native plant, supports a beneficial insect. The bad insects live in your house and eat your scraps. And you have to have a kitty cat or poison your house to get rid of those little mice. But the ones in the field, harvest. So the bugs out there are things like monarch butterflies, the state butterfly that was selected 3 years ago in 2007, depends on the violet. The little tiny violet, well, the native ones are cheap and grow readily, even in bad soil, and that's the only plant that will support our state butterflies' bottom. The caterpillars cannot grow except on that plant. So diversity of vegetation is extremely important, and I think this can be reflected in this and the landscape ordinance, and also we talked about it as part of that period ordinance passed previously. So,
you know, Aubrey, we are going to be revisiting this in a couple of weeks.
Oh, do we promise to do that? Well, you know, I'll be 70 years old on Halloween, and I might not be able to talk, so give me 1 more minute. Let me say a few things. I didn't want to come tonight. Trying to cut down on these trips. Anyway, this is important in several areas. It says provide maintenance responsibility for stormwater management systems. That's already done. The government says it's their problem, but they don't maintain it. And some of them have never been maintained. Even some along our trails simply weren't done as they could be. But the inspector, what's the inspector? We need inspectors who are trained. In fact, I'd love to see every department head in the city trained to delineate wetlands. Because when you're building a road, you're putting in a sewer line, when you're creating a trail, or any of the many functions that we do. And some of the people that do the code inspections could easily be inexpensively trained to recognize wetland and native plants and know the difference in whether it's fescue grass, which I agree should be cut below 8 inches, and good grass. So, since we're going to revisit it, I missed that vote there, I guess. But keep the water where it falls, and putting a layer of sifted soil over red dirt with turf rolled out over it is not creating green space. It's got to be soil down there that will actually function. Thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey. Mayor, can I say something, Aubrey, just real quick? I won't take no questions, but
yes, sir.
I just want to let you know that I'm establishing a riparian zone, and I believe that Sarah over there can, along the creek behind my house.
I saw it.
You remember? river?
Well, yes, you've always had a riparian zone, but I once visited Bobby's house when, there was a water running from Mission Boulevard all the way down there through your yard. It was a
Okay.
big muddy river.
Thank